Hey friends, it's David here. And today I've got a guest. It's Allan. And before and I'm gonna let him talk for sure. But before we get into who he is and what he does, I just want you to know that I heard rumors about him from the broader Bump Global TV community, which is largely propagated throughout Facebook. I happen to be part of that crew as well. I also built my own Facebook group, Spark Infinity, largely last year, and this year I continue to pump out content. The thing is, I'd heard about Allan and the things that he did, and everyone said it's so cool. But when I heard the description, it didn't quite ring true for me. But later, I connected personally with Allan and then found out what he does. And I found him intellectual, I found him cerebral, I found him insightful, I found him to be an expert in spirituality and the things he does. So, Allan, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking.
Great. I heard you describe yourself as a word architect. I'm sure people would be curious to know what that's about. So, what is it that you do?
Well, I've become a language architect.
Hmm.
What I actually do is I take a person's name, first, middle, and last, and I translate to find the identity of who they are through the lens of their names. This is an ancient tradition that goes back as far as records can find, scriptures or traditions or different languages even, of how the name is honored, the integrity, the standing and sounding of a name, and how even Yeshua said, my I know you by your name. We knew each other by our names, I believe and feel from all the searching that I've done before we came here. And in that essence that we get to keep in our name, it was hidden up.
Hmm.
With all the chaos and the noise, we can really go in and really find the old languages that showed the meaning, the tone, and the essence of each letter. English is a dead language. It's got a, b, ka, d. It's not a whole lot there, but each letter, the old Hebrew language and Aramaic, each letter has a meaning, tone, and an essence. And we take the essence, meanings, and tones of each letter from the first, middle, and last name, and then we refine and get the essence out of them and put those words into a poem, those meanings. And that poem becomes a song that I call a soul's song. So it's your name and your song. You get to keep the song, the translations, and it's quite a remarkable feeling within your heart and soul of coming face to face with yourself, of your essence through your name. So in that, it's something that you don't find. I stumbled on it through healing naturally through what they call a dis-ease of leukemia and things like that. And
Hmm.
through my natural cure of in learning the old language, I translated my name. I learned about herbs and nature and learned about numerology, astrology, gematria, and all that is tied into the name. So you had yours done, and you felt your expressions of who you really are through your name, as everybody else does, and it usually brings out a tear, because that connection, when you come face to face with your name's origin, your body relaxes, and your vagus nerve, which is the fight or flight nervous system, recognizes itself, and when it does, your fascia begins to move. That causes a piezoelectric charge. It activates your blood, your DNA, and the waters within that kind of recharges and supercharges your body, and you become a conduit to receive whatever your heart's intentions are. So it's beautiful. I have no words yet.
It is absolutely, and I will confirm that it was an intense, heart-based, tearful process. What sort of secrets are hidden in a name that we're not immediately present to? Because especially as you said in the English language, it's a dead language. Oof. But what sort of secrets are hidden in our names?
Wow. The secret is the actual patterns, motions, and flows of our heavenly chord, our current of the absolute love that connects us here on earth to the heavens. And that chord that, each of us through our lives, we live through the notes of our name, the verses, the choruses. We have the bridge, and hopefully receive the outro by honoring our name in that essence. So it really carries the fabric and the essence, I believe, and the ancients believe, that we're hidden up for that purpose of our divine connection to the source, to God, to our creator. And we are that divine connection. You are a fractal of me. I am of you. We are together one, as we all are. And this whole thing that I do is founded on the two greatest laws of Matthew 22, 37 through 40. Love your creator with all your heart and love your neighbor as thyself. And when you can embody those things, you start to, align with your name, attune with your name, and start to embody your name. Then you see who you are. Then you see who your neighbor is. They hold that. You got to honor their name, honor who they are in that divine. So in that, you find the harmony of absolute love, that connection we all hold.
What I'm hearing in that is your name tells you who you are and what you're for. And feel free to expand on that or even correct it if I'm off base. But that is what I'm hearing in that.
It's wild because nobody has felt it unless you research it. You can find that we are divine as one of the divine. And in that, I feel and I believe with all my heart that through our names, that we're God-given names, and through the Lord's Prayer, hallowed be thy name, as we live up to our name, those divine qualities come through our life, through all of our trials. We are refined. We grow from each trial. So our name is, I believe, of the one who fractaled itself off in billions of names to experience, get all this data of every life and every trial and every joy, and to expand itself. So we are just little fractals of absolute love, just waiting to be remembered. The family's fallen apart. Why the husband and wives marriage is falling apart. Children don't know who they really are. I feel and believe that the divine is trying to reestablish the foundation, and I'm here and others are doing their part to help bring back the morality, and to honor thy father and thy mother in the name that we are given, and to honor each other in that standing and sounding.
And to expand or to share a little bit on what I got out of my session with you, just a couple of simple things because there's a lot in there and we could go really deep. But one of the things was I'm a wide open space. I hadn't even considered or thought about that before, but it kind of came out of my birthplace of Camrose, Alberta, which is prairies, and it is absolutely wide open. You can see your enemy coming for miles, as they like to say over there. And another thing was just simplicity. And I don't know if I've lived into either of those things. At times in my life, I have, but my tendency has more so been hermit a lot, or spend a lot of time in isolation creating, which I love to do, and complicating, which I'm at a point in my life where I absolutely am working towards simplicity and something resembling much more simplicity than I've lived to this point. But those two things were pretty huge for me.
Yeah, I mean, what more beauty can you find when you start seeing a little deeper into yourself? So the simplicity of art and music, and 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 there's some of us who, myself included, grew up from broken homes,
Yeah.
and we want love. We are waiting for love, and in that, everybody wants to be loved, but few choose to be love. When you can embrace love and not worry about searching for it so much and wanting and needing it, but if you can embrace and find who you are within, then you can learn to embody that love of the divine. And that's what I'm learning. The more I do this, the more I do these soul songs and bring out the natures, the signs of nature. And if you take signature and put it together, it's sign and nature. So these are our signs of our nature that we're uncovering through our name, our characteristics, our attributes. And it's hard to see them and connect with them if we don't take the time to look and just, feel our way through our lives, take a moment to breathe and get away and find that silence. So it was good to be a hermit on your part and to
Mm,
do those things because you really became in touch with your feminine side. And to have balance, we have to have the masculine and the feminine balance
100%.
in order to have that homeostasis that comes with absolute love. So good for you.
Yeah, you brought it up, so I'm gonna delve deeper into that a little bit. But and by the way, I have to say, Alan, like I, you are an amazing space for heart-centered communication. I have to say, because the moment I started talking with you, my heart opened. And but this is where I want to go with this: is that so often I'm not there. And I think at exactly what you said. It's trauma. It's past-based things, frustrations, things that have not gone the way that we expected or hoped they would. And so, do you have ideas for or tips for the people who are often stuck up here in their minds and
Yeah.
can't access their heart?
Before I could actually find, I would say memorize one thing to
Mm,
start off for the foundation, and that's Matthew 22. And I don't, I was a Mormon for 40 years. And 3.5 years ago, when I was diagnosed, I was shown so much more that I had to dive into the languages. And this is the purpose that came to bloom. Um, but, but what I could say is memorize that because those are the two greatest laws. And it says in there that all laws and all prophets hang on those two laws. Well, I looked up, since I'm an etymologist also, I looked up hang, and that means to hinge. So that door won't open to absolute love until you can love yourself that much, to love your neighbor that much, and then all three, the creator, neighbor, and self, unite in this condition, this current, the field of bliss, absolute love. So when you can get in there and feel, align with that scripture, try to attune yourself to that scripture and embody it. And I really couldn't do that until I first 3.5 years ago translated my name from the old language, because that's the language that Yeshua Jesus was teaching and learning from the Essene, a people that was back then who had this language that was unified. Back then, Hebrew was masculine, Aramaic was the feminine. Together, they were a balanced language, and that was a harmonic influence. And that's when Yeshua came out of hiding. The wind shifted when he came around the ground. You could feel the ground, the energy where he and the Father were one was of the essence through his name, Yeshua, which was later changed to Jesus. Now, I don't know if they changed it to change the structure and frequency of his name. I don't know. I don't care. All I do know is that from the ancient languages, no matter which one you look and search, the name is connected and it has something to do with finding our way home.
I looked into this a little bit as well, nowhere near as much as you, but in Japan, it's pronounced Yesu. And I also found out that the modern equivalent Joshua is much closer to what Yeshua is versus Jesus. So it's really fascinating when you start looking into these types of nuances of words.
Yeah, back then there was a language that they called the Septuagint, They
Mm,
killed off all the prophets and the priestesses, and they took 30 books of the divine out of the scriptures to keep a more masculine form of language going forward.
mm,
Uh, and so they really didn't have the balanced language, and it has taken a while for, now that technology is here, people are finding it, they're feeling it, and in the cycles of life, it's the divine is coming back, and the macho man that they've tried to build up has, in the macho countries and things that are done, is it's run its course, and the only thing left to do is to flip the spin and have the divine come back and nurture, because the divine is the nurturing and it's the raising, and the masculine is the filling in the building. So it's back to the nurturing again, to where we have to refoundation and get back to loving each other as self, in order for marriages to stay and honor each other and what they have, before children can see who they are, within that, through their name. And also, um, it's like when even people pass away, um, that celebration of life, no one really knows the divine that they are. And I've been blessed to go to a funeral home to present this to them, and they absolutely loved it.
mm.
We're going to be doing some things with the births, new births, the weddings, and I'm working on trying to reestablish the foundation of those two greatest laws, and to get the love going back to where it needs. So integrity on a handshake, that of old, my word is my bond thing, and you can't do that until you get back to the structure of understanding who you really are.
You mentioned self love, and this was quite the trending topic through the pandemic, possibly even before that. But it's not just like a checklist, is it? It's not like meditate and work out and eat right and don't drink certain things and then you're all good. Like there's way more to it
Well,
than that.
baby steps, okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to have a life or death situation, like
Mm,
I did, in order to change your thoughts and start to eat right and leave out the sugars and the processed foods and the things that are what they didn't have back then, to fill you up, to what was that, your temple, you try to keep your temple clean, your house, and in that, there's also, um, taking care of your body as well as your heart and your mind. So there is little things that you can do little by little, but the biggest thing is, you do have to take a little bit of time to, um, find out who you are, and you only can do that when you don't have the noise around, when you don't have the chaos.
mm.
You turn off some of the TV channels and you start going into your writing in your songs, and things that touch hearts. And when you're in the heart language, the heart current, then things are revealed to you, manifest to you. Synchronicities start coming, because now you've picked the path of light, where the dark always has to give way to the light. So once you let your light shine, this darkness, the ego, will still be here, but it knows that you're leading now. So yeah, there is change that you have to do. It's called responsibility,
Hmm.
taking the ability to respond.
Mm-hmm.
And when we can have what they call obedience in the Gospels, I call it responsibility. And it's hard. You can't receive a title if you don't do the deeds. So you want to receive that title, that royalty, we have to do the deeds.
We've had neurolinguistic programming practitioners on the show before, and they've talked about how that has the potential to heal oneself. So I don't think we're so far removed that our listeners or viewers can't really believe that. And on the same token, it still sounds magical, miraculous. So, what was your experience of healing yourself through language?
Wow, I got goosebumps. Those are actually the piezoelectricity charge is going off,
Mm,
is in the into healing yourself, you put yourself in that state of of love, and you're loving yourself, um, and when you start to love others as you love yourself, but you really got to start digging in. For an example, your name. If you take some time, even a half hour a day, 15 minutes in the morning and evening, maybe listen to your song at least once or twice a day through the day, because that's a song of you. Your essence is refined through your name, and then if you can learn a little bit about the languages, the the Hebrew, the language of Hebrew and Aramaic is a technology. It can literally open the veil, thin the veil enough to allow you to receive from the spirits, your ancestors who are with us all the time. If we're showing this attempt to reach out to the divine, then the divine will meet us halfway. That veil thins, and now whatever our heart's intent is, will be made manifest through the other side for us. They'll appear.
Hmm.
And it's crazy how some of these things can come up and you can't explain them. They're for you. But because you're you and love draws itself unto itself, people will be attracted to you that are looking to be in that space. I love your space. I enjoy the heck out of it because I can relate to your heart, to your situation, to your art, and to your essence of your aura, your chi, of your space. It comes through.
Yeah.
It literally comes through a screen. It comes through your tone, your voice. There's a lot to that also. We can go into the biology of taking your cells and put them 500 miles away and have someone poke at your cells 500 miles away and then have them on another petri dish and they are moving at the same time. So no matter where we are in the world, these currents, this quantum consciousness is available to us. The more that get together, like I'm having a group called Soul Song Studio Circle, those that had their soul songs, their names translated. Once we have a meeting, I'm looking forward to some beautiful, beautiful magic that may not come out of there, but I guarantee you there'll be some tears of joy from those that can relate to one another in a way that there is no other circle.
Hmm. To your point, there has been times in my life when I felt God, universe, source, spirit, Gus met me more than halfway in what I was doing. And at the same time, I have disciplines. There's a few documents I open and read and look at every single day. Sometimes I rework them completely. I have them written down and I have them typed up. Sometimes I even record audios of myself. These are like I am statements, but they're more than just affirmations. And also a complete list and pictures of all the things I want to be, have, and experience in life. So it's like the disciplines are also there. But I'm a deep believer in the spiritual, and I feel like I'm living there this year more than in the 3D world, which I don't know how I got there, but I did.
Yeah, everything's purpose. Just know you know that. We can go through our whole lives and at the time, like right now, if someone would say, if you could do it all over again and get rid of your leukemia and get rid of this other cancer or whatever that you may have, I feel like that was such a blessing for me to help me go inward to receive all of this. So, and that's healing. That is, I mean, that your blood, your DNA restructures itself from your state of mind. Your intentions will, as you do your disciplinary things, what the mind conceive, it will achieve through heart's intention. If your intentions are deemed good, and bad, those are that also will happen. If your intentions are bad, you'll get everything that you want. It's just what side of it is. Obviously, the light will always give way to the dark. It always has, and it always will. So I choose to manifest the love and try to align with it, attune to it, in the hopes one day fully embody it. I'm happy if I were to go tomorrow,
Hmm.
because my new beginnings is a place I'm excited to go into. But I'd rather see this bloom and go around the world and establish this connection with names and with souls that that it will do its purpose that it's meant to do.
And my documents, just for anybody listening, for reference, they have two caveats. And the first one is complete detachment. So I'm okay with never getting that result. And then the second one is this or something better in perfect alignment with God, universe, or spirit. I always add that because I'd rather have that than what I think is perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Line upon line, they say, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, as long as you're not stagnant. Because you can't go anywhere if you're not trying. If you're stuck in the box, you can't see outside of it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Right?
often been told to write down goals or imagine dreams, and all those exercises are fantastic, especially if you do them. A lot of people, and I've been the same way. I read a book and it's like I didn't do it, didn't do the exercises, right? But
Right?
when you actually,
Same here.
yeah, but when you actually do them, really, really, really cool things can absolutely happen. But it still usually ends up being framed within what you know. If you don't know of the existence of Rolex or Patek Philippe watches, then you're never going to dream of having one to begin with. You're just like, I want a watch, I guess, but I don't know what kind.
Yeah, yeah, and that's knowledge. They say it's such a big thing. As we go through our lives, knowledge builds us into emotional intelligence, where you have no triggers. You just, it's called wisdom. So we need the knowledge. We need to get outside the box to gain some of these things, and through the old language, it's opened many doors for me that I'm able to break a lot of barriers without having the fear. It busts out the fear.
Hmm.
I'll tell you that right now. The fear. So many times I get down, but I'm not worried about it.
Hmm.
I'm I'm saying, okay, this is happening to me. Why? Oh, I know. It's for me to pick my damn self up out of it and go forward and just do what I'm here to do. Try to stay focused and following that light. And as long as you do that, the light keeps getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And who knows where it's going to go? That's the beauty of it. It's just divine direction. I'm very grateful. Gratitude is a healer.
Hmm. So, for anyone still listening or watching, what would the Soul Song session look like? What can people expect from this? And again, I say it's incredible, and the description may not give you the whole thing. Maybe it will. I don't know. But what would you say people can expect in your session?
Real short and sweet. It's a reflection of you, me, us, the we, through your name. Each letter are combined, the essences. Then I take the numerology, old Hebrew numerology, gematria, that's connected to the letters from old, and that brings out more essences of you. And then I take your name and ancestral and the land that you came in to land on and were born into this world. I don't use birth dates or I don't use astrology. This is just based on the name and where you landed. And through all of that, your name has bloomed of you, and what's left is the essence, the smell of this rose, this beautiful rose from each and every one of us that carries us within. And that essence of your name, of your bloom, is put into this poem, song, a beautiful song. And I pick a genre, I pick AI does the build. I just put the words that come out of the name. And I could do this translation myself without the tool through this book. This is Antoine Fabre de Olivet, who spent 30 years of his life to find a language that Yeshua was teaching and that the Essenes were teaching. And that's the template that I put in, is to translate with that. And so it's all done on no teaching. I don't teach. I reveal, your name reveals everything that you need to know. What resonates, you keep, and what doesn't, just let it fade away. Um, but it's an emotional experience, one that you'll be eternally grateful for receiving. It's something that's sitting in your email. It is yours. I would, and I tell people, please get it out of your email, copy it, put it in a folder for your children, their children, and to pass down. And these are great gifts for everybody, to whether it's a birthday, an anniversary, or something, to show them who they are, and so they can, that gift that you can give them is not like a massage. It's not like a Reiki, which is beautiful in itself, but this is something you get to keep. This is something that once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can't unfeel it. And so you're in for, if you do something like this, it's a life-changing event. It's an experience of you.
If our viewers are interested in booking a session with you, obviously they can get in touch with you, especially if they're watching this on Facebook. I'll make sure to tag Allan. But do you have a website or email address where people can reach you as well?
Yeah, the website's your name, the word and, A-N-D, your name and yoursong.com. And the Soul Song Studios is the company that I'm working under, that I just started. So, you can find out all the information through there. If you have any questions, you can email me through there. And of course, my Facebook, you have that, and they can contact me. Send me an invite. I'll put you in there on my Facebook, and hopefully one day you can be in the Soul Song Studio circle, and we can share what you've experienced with others, and see what we can do as a group to grow this beautiful movement.
I'll make sure to put the URL on screen in editing. Allan, thank you so much. Is there anything else we should have touched on?
No, not at all. This is very, it's a lot of information. And when you do get your soul song done, you can't absorb it all at once. A lot of people are like, wow, what just happened? They're overwhelmed. They're overstimulated. And through the tears and through the joy and through the experiences, the goosebumps, the song, I do a soul map. You picture a song that has all your essences that comes out in expression in song, so you can hear it. I also build a map of your essences through nature's, and each one highlights in this map an essence of you that you can put on the wall, frame it, and every time you look at it, you see an essence, and all the essences that is carried within your name, always has, always will be. And so that it's something that again, you have to experience it in order to really understand it. It's not out there to research, because nobody does it. I'm just, what are you going to say? I have 2 books out there, My Soul Song, where it started from poetry to heal myself. Then I put the poems in Suno. I go, and then from the Suno app and the songs, I decided to make a step of each one of my life experiences and put it in an AI that takes an hour and a half to 2 hours to do, instead of a week to do one name by myself. So it's, and I'd love to teach. I'm teaching somebody right now to do it. So when I can get people that are heart-centered enough and feel connected to it, then they can do this. And it's not about the money. The money helps. I still need herbs and stuff to heal and to do what I need to do, and pay for the books and whatnot to go out. And I've got events and stuff I want to go into. So yeah, the money's there to try and do that. But it's all about, if you can get a few people that are moved to the point of tears from just their name, that's all I need. That's healing.
Well said. You have to experience it. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Viewers, wherever you happen to be watching this, I would really appreciate a like and a comment and a subscribe or a follow, because you might be watching it somewhere where there are no subscribers. Either way, if you want to continue to follow along with this journey, and holy cow, has it been an interesting one, please subscribe.
And it's going to get better.
Yes,
It's going to get better.
it
I collaborate with you doing something down the road would be kind of nice. And,
we should.
you know, I think it'd be good. I want to sing one of these songs.
Mm,
I want to sing one of them, you know.
we should try that.
My poems, I don't have the technology to, but they're out there now, so I can sing into it, and they'll put the music behind me. I seen it Zuno even doing that, so I need to look into that to where I can do that. But I've got so much on my plate. But one day, I'm going to be around here long enough.
Excellent.
That's
Well, my angels or my intuition or God keeps reminding me that this year is on a rocket ship trajectory. It's definitely
nice.
going amazing places this year. And I'm just trying to stay open and be a conduit for what needs to happen, because I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing next. But this has been fun.
So good. Way to put it. Yeah. Me too.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Come on, join the crowd.
Yeah, join it.
Come on.